Forever Maine. Anybody I missed? I haven't gone onto the laptop yet. I'm just getting everything finished up. I was going to come on a little earlier and have you watch me fill out the score sheet, but I figured that would be kind of boring, so I decided to wait. And we're ready to go here for Game 6. It'll be Catfish Hunter against Doc Ellis. And the first thing that stands out in this one is the pitcher-catcher hold ratings for both teams. Ellis is a +5 because we've got +1 from Sanguian and a +4 from Ellis makes him a +5. So the A's will be looking to take advantage of that. Whereas the opposite end of the spectrum, the Oakland A's are -5. Fosse's a -3. Catfish is a -2. So that gives him a -5. Also, ballpark effects, not very good for Oakland. Singles are a 1. That's it for lefties and righties. Home runs are 1 to 9. So a little bit more forgiving on the home runs than Three Rivers was, because you had to have a 5 or less on Three Rivers. So at least on Oakland, a 1 to 9, you could do it. And I was going to play this game last night, but I just got too much into college football and whatnot. So by the time I got around to try to set something up, it was after 9 o'clock, and I really didn't want to do it that late. So I figured Sunday morning might be a little more of a better way to do it. Hello, Ben. Let me turn the sound off my laptop so we don't have any echoing. Hello, Ben. I was actually playing some action PC baseball the other night on the computer, and so that's why I had the sound up. Of course, we've got Oakland A colored dice, which aren't far from the Pittsburgh colored dice. Just change the D20 from black to green, and you have it. Let's get everything, now that I've got the laptop going, let's get everything in position as best I can to fit everything. Let's put this down a little bit more so we can see the line score, hopefully. But then we're going to lose some of the catfish, so let's see. Hello, Steve. Good to see you. Brian B. Yeah, 3-2 was, had been the, I'm going to have to raise this up just a hair, I think, just so it'll fit everything. 3-2 has been the magic score in all 5 games. So chances of that happening for a Game 6, and ironically, the series is now 3-2 as well in total number of games. So that 3-2 thing is kind of, following me around a little bit, apparently. Looks like it's a little tilted for some reason, but I guess we're okay. I think we'll go with it. I'm just finishing up my last cup of coffee, so if you hear me slurping in between plays, that's what's going on. Again, Catfish Hunter, 21-5, 3.34 ERA. Doc Ellis, 12-14, 3.05 ERA. If there is a Game 7, it will be played on Tuesday night. If there's not a Game 7, then I'll still be on Tuesday night, but it will be the 1987, the reboot of that. It'll be Minnesota at Seattle. Burt Blyleven against Mark Langston in that one. With all the other games I would have already played ahead of time, so you'd have a recap of that and the out-of-town scoreboard and all that good stuff. So now hopefully we're ready to go. Finish up the warm-up toss. This is Catfish Hunter. I might need to move this over here to make sure the right-hand side of the batter card does show up. So let me set this up and make sure that there's no cutoff here. I don't think there is, but we'll double check it just to be on the safe side. I think everything fits now. Looks like we're good to go. In fact, I don't want to go too far because I'll lose the tray. So, all right. I think we're ready to go. Let's play ball, as Ben says. All right. So Dave Cash, again, must-win game for Pittsburgh. If there is a Game 7, it will be the rematch of Game 1 and Game 4. It'll be Ken Holtzman against Jim Rooker, 2 lefties. So here we go. Game 6 underway, 1-4 for Cash. That's a ballpark single check, but again, it's only a 1. So you're going to get that out, 95% of the time. All right, here's Gene Clines. I had to make a decision on what to do with this. Either put Al Oliver in center and put Bob Robertson in first and bench Gene Clines, or put Gene Clines in center, put Al Oliver at first, and bench Robertson. I went back and looked at some of the box scores from the late September games that the Pirates are playing with their independent chase. When they faced a right-hander, this is the lineup they went with, so that's why I went with it. In case you're curious why Bob Robertson's not in there, this is the reason why. Of course, Oakland's his ass played Game 3 of the World Series where they faced a right-hander, so anytime they face Seaver, this is the lineup they were using. All right, 5-5. Gene Klein's right-hander, 5-5 as they fly to left field. 2 down. All right, here is Al Oliver playing first base in this one. We get a 4-4 left-handed. That is a ground ball shortstop X. That is Campaneris. He's a 2E26. Now, he did make 2 errors in Game 5 that ended up, hurting the A's. But let's see if he can do it here. On a 2, he has to have a 3 or better to get to it. And he does. So it's an 8. So that's a G2, which is good enough. And now to avoid the error, he's got to avoid 12, 17, and 18. But I rolled 12 twice last game. So let's see. Not this time. This time he's good to go. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for the Catfish. So half an inning in the books. It's Pittsburgh, nothing, and the A's coming to bat. Robert, I have not had a chance to watch your Strat-O-Matic hockey, but I will be doing that during the week. Try to start with the basic one because I really need to start with that and watch that all the way through before I start watching the advanced and super advanced. So, but I definitely would be curious. I'm going to be curious to watch that because I do have Strat hockey. Just never played it, but I do have it. So, all right, here is Doc Ellis. Why is this thing, boy, this thing is like on an angle here for some reason. I don't know why. Let's try this way, see if that helps. I'm trying to fix the angle if I can. I'm trying to figure out which way it's supposed to turn the thing to, okay, that's better. All right, there we go. Okay, so now we got it. Do anybody having a crick in their neck trying to watch this thing? All right. Yes, Brian, I didn't have time to print them out, so just figured I'd go with it. Actually, now that you mention that, let me do this real quick. Let me do this for you, Brian. Since we have this up here. There we go. All right, so let's do, let me find the one I need. I think it's this one. Yep, okay. So let me do this. Insert. Take this all the way out. Let's say white. All right. That. I'll be with you in a second. Hold on, Brian. Don't know how well you can see it, Brian, but if you want to take a screenshot, there you go. I don't know how well it's showing on the thing, but there are your benches and bullpens for both teams. If you want to take a quick snapshot or write them down or whatever, or just scan it, there you go. That's the benches and bullpens for both teams. So, yeah, I just didn't feel like, really didn't even think about printing them. Obviously, didn't have it for last game, so I figured while I'm trying to wrap this thing up. Hello, JD. How are you doing? Now, you don't say that on another channel. Not even in electric form or electronic form. All right, so Bert Campaneris will lead off against Doc Ellis. 1-3, and that's a ground ball to first, and Oliver will step on the bag himself. But that other channel has a lot of things that are really good, so let's not, downgrade that other channel whatsoever. So here's Joe Rudy. 2-8, and that's a 1-7 home run. That's a 19, though, but it will be a double for Joe Rudy. Tutti Frutti, oh Rudy. He will not be held as an E runner. He runs at a 13, so that's not all that swift. So they don't want to lessen the range of their infielders, so they will not hold him on. So here's Bando, the captain. 6-5, that's a ground ball shortstop X. That is Dow Maxfield, who's a 2E24. So as a 2, he's not responsible for holding the runners. So he just, again, needs a 3 or higher. And he gets it to 6, which is a G2. So that means the runner's going to have to hold, assuming there's no error. E24, he's got to avoid. This is weird. E24 has more error chances than the E26 does, which I don't understand by Strat. But E24 error chances are 4, 6, 15, 17, and 18. Now, maybe there's different, those numbers don't come up as much, but there's 5 different numbers you can hit. That's a 5. So we're going to have a G2 rare play. So I'll bring the chart in for that one. G2 rare play. Well, first of all, the 6 and the 2 is a G2 right here, G2 pound. But nobody's being held on, so the pound is irrelevant. So we go here to G2 rare play. Batter lines a shot that deflects off the pitcher to the fielder who makes the play to first for the out. Runners advance. So the only thing that changed was instead of the runner holding, the runner now advances. So because it hit off the pitcher and then went to Maxville for the 1-6-3 putout, Rudy will take third base. So now 2 down for Hot Dog Reggie Jackson. Hot Dog Jackson. Nothing going on there. Ellis, 6-6 to the lefty. He's a ground ball to first. Oliver fields it, steps on the bag, and they leave the runner at third base. No runs, a hit, no errors, and a man left at the end of 1. No score from Oakland Alameda County Coliseum. At least I think that's what they called it back in '73. That's one of those stadiums that the name changed like 28 times. But I think back in '73 that they stayed constant for a while. I don't think the sponsorships really kicked in until like the 90s and 2000s. So top of the second we go, and it will be Wilbur Stargell to lead it off here against Catfish. It's a 6-6, and that's a fly ball to right field, and Reggie is there. 1 away. Richie Zisk is your batter. 6-3, and that's a fly ball left field X. That's Joe Rudy. He's a 2E7. So as an outfielder and a 2, he has to have a 4 or higher to get to this. And he does. 6, that's an F2. An E7, he's got to avoid 6, 15, 16, and 18. That's a 9. He'll make that play. 2 down. Richie Zisk is retired. Here comes the gravedigger, Richie Hebner. (5-9), and that's a strikeout. Catfish with his first strikeout of the game. And at the end of 1.5, we got no score. I think I might have fuzzed up the thing showing that chart, so let's fix the focus real quick. Hopefully that's better as we go to the bottom of the second. And it'll be Gene Tennis to lead it off, followed by Davalillo and Fossey. This is a game they used Davalillo instead of, they put Davalillo in center and Reggie in right instead of Alou in right and Reggie in center. So you can go both ways. Hello, JD, if I missed you. Ellis, 3-5. Tennis struck him out. So Tennis out on strikes. Here's Davalillo, 6'5". He's a lefty. That is a ground ball shortstop X. And again, that is Maxville 2E24. So he has to have a 3 or higher, which he does, G1. And as an E24, once again, he's got to avoid 4, 6, 15, 17, and 18, which he does. So it's a good play for Maxville. 2 down for Ray Fossey, the catcher. 4-8, righty on righty. 4-8 is a strikeout for Ellis. So it's a 1-2-3 inning. And at the end of 2, we got nothing going on so far. Both pitchers on their game. And like I said, if there is a game 7, it will be Tuesday, and it'll be Jim Rooker against Ken Holtzman. That would be the matchup. And then with the Pirates, anybody with a relief rating, including some of their starters, if they have a relief rating, Doc Ellis is probably the only one that wouldn't be available for them, and Catfish Hunter is probably the only one that wouldn't be available for the A's because it'd be an all hands on deck at that point. All right, so Catfish will be facing Sanguian, Maxville, and the pitcher Ellis, who's using pitcher rating card number 1, whereas Catfish uses pitcher rating card number 3. It's a 4-7, and that is a strikeout. Sanguian out on strikes. Here's Maxville, the shortstop. 2-11, and that's a foul out to Sal Bando for out number 2. Pirates shortstop in 73 was really a weak position for them, no matter who they had. Gene Alley, Jackie Hernandez, or Dal Maxville, they were all bad as far as offense goes, and even defense to some extent. There's the pitcher Ellis. It's a 3-6, and he's going to ground it to Campaneris, and that's going to do it for the Pirates. We go to the bottom of the 3rd. Still no score. And it'll be Dick Green, Catfish Hunter, and Campaneris due up in the bottom of the 3rd. It's a 1-8, and that's a solid single for Dick Green. So that means that there will be a bunt coming up from Catfish. Catfish's bunting rating is a C. So the corner's in makes him a D. Do they want to try that? I still think with the pitcher, you still got to try to bunt. I mean, you got to get somebody in scoring position. So D on the chart is not very good, but we're going to give it a go. First, check for wild pitches. No havoc. All right, so now we're going to see where the bunt goes. It goes to the first baseman, Oliver. Now the question is, will it be a good bunt? He's a D bunter, so he pretty much needs something 7 or less. And he got a 5, which is good. It's a good sacrifice. There it is, D on the bunt chart. D is a good sacrifice with a 5. So good bunt to Oliver. All he can do is just tag Hunter coming in. It's a sacrifice 3B. I put 3B there for a bunt just to tell me it was a bunt. Although sacrifice would have told me that as well. Not that it matters. And Dick Green takes second base. All right, so Green is at second. He will not be held. And that's going to bring up Campaneris. Hello, Mr. Gudeman. How are you doing? 16. Nothing going on. Ellis to Campaneris with Green at second and 1 out. 5-7 is a strikeout for Doc Ellis. So that's out number 2. And now in a clutch situation is Joe Rudy. He doubled his first chance, but that was with nobody on base. Can he do it in a clutch? 1-5, he cannot. He strikes out in the clutch. That's going to do it. No runs, a hit, no errors, and a man left at the end of 3. No score. Pirates and the A's. Game 6. Must win for the Pirates to force a Game 7. So Catfish out back on the mound facing Mr. Cash. .65, that is another strikeout. There's a dot there, but he's obviously not anywhere near being tired, so there's one away for Gene Klein, center fielder. 5-10, and that's a ballpark single check, but again, it has to be a 1. That's the only chance they have. That's a 17. So with nobody on base, I'm going to keep the original result. I'm not going to do a liner to short because there's too many of those, so I'm going to keep the fly out to left. I would keep this line out to short if there were runners on base where this other result would affect something differently. But when there's no change, I keep the original result on the card, just so there's not so many L6s and L4s going on. But that's just a homebrew. You can do whatever you want. Hello, Doug. Hello, Chuck and Jimmy Jam. How are you all doing? Al Oliver, 2-6. That's a solid single for Al Oliver. But again, it's a -5 pitcher-catcher hold rating, so Oliver's not much of a threat to run anyway. The only way he gets a jump is on a 2. And you also get have the chance of being caught if you roll a 1 on that D20. You know what? They're gonna be frisky. They're gonna try it. We'll see if he can get a 2. Nope, doesn't get the 2, so he has to hold. So with 2 outs, he holds at first base, and they will hold him on. And here's Wilbur Stargell. Wilbur Stargell. 1-5, and that's a look at that. Oh, I'm looking at 2-5. I'm sorry, I got excited. I looked at 2-5. It's actually 1-5. It's a 1-7 single. 16 makes a liner to second. Oh, I almost misread that. I kind of did in the beginning. I saw those home runs in column 2. Got it, and saw the 5 there, but it is a 1 on the D6 here. So we're over here, and 8-20. That's a 16. So an 8-20 is a line out to second to end the inning. So almost thought I had something there for Wilbur Stargell, but we do not. We go to the bottom of the 4th. No score. Of course, every game, all 5 games to this point have been final scores of 3-2. Don't know if that'll hold up in this game or not. We shall find out. Right now, no score. Here's the captain, Sal Bando. 3-7 for Bando. 1-11 is a double. That's a 9, so that will be a double for Sal Bando. Leadoff double. He will not be held as a slow runner. And here comes Hot Dog Jackson. First base is open, but you're not going to walk him. You don't want to put too many guys on base. So Ellis will go after Jackson. 1-5, and he ends up walking him unintentionally. It does set up a double play, though, for Gene Tennis. And he does have a lot of ground ball A's on his card, so potential double play coming up right here on any ground ball. It's a 1-7, but it's not going to be. It's going to be a hit. 1-4 is a double. That's a 20. It's a single, 2 stars, and that will score the first run of the game. Sal Bando comes around to score. Jackson will go to third, and nobody out. Runners on the corners, and the Pirates are in trouble. The bullpen's already started for the Pirates because there's no tomorrow. They do have left-handed action in the bullpen, and they have Luke Walker, a lefty, loosening in the pen. All right, here's Davalillo. Not a good bunter, so we're not going to try any funky bunting stuff. The infield is in, though. They have to. They can't afford. They can't even trade a double play for 2 out, a run for 2 outs. They have to get the out without the run scoring. 5-5, and that's a fly ball left field B, so it doesn't matter. It's a sacrifice fly for Vic Davalillo. The run scores. Reggie comes in. It's 2-0 Oakland. Now double play. At least we get him out of the inning, but 2 runs are already in. And the way Catfish is pitching, you never know if that 2 runs might be enough. 3-8, and that's a ground ball shortstop. There's a plus sign with that. It's only in advance, not super advanced. Nobody was being held anyway. So it's going to be a 6-4-3 double play, which came 1 out too late. Had they done that before that, then the sacrifice fly would not have been in play. But coulda, woulda, shoulda. A's get 2 runs on 2 hits. No errors, and they left nobody on base thanks to the double play. At the end of 4, it is Oakland 2, Pittsburgh 0. Richie Zisk will lead things off against Catfish. Only 1 hit in the game so far. It was an Al Oliver single in the 4th, and that's been it against Catfish. To 2-2, and that is a Lomax. Line out to third, but nobody else is on base, so it's just a line out to Bando. 1 away for the Gravedigger, Richie Hebner. Struck out his first chance. 6-7, lefty. That's a ground ball second base X. That's Dick Green. He's a 2E11 is Green. So as a 2, he merely needs a 3 or higher to get to this. And he will. It's a G1. And now second base, E11, he has to avoid 15, 17, and 18, which he does. So it's a good play for Dick Green. 2 down for Manny Sanguillen. Strikeout victim his first chance. A's trying to wrap it up today and not go to a Game 7. 3-5. That's a single to center field for Sanguillen. He will not be held. He will not go anywhere. Here comes Dow Maxfield. Catfish looking to finish off the inning. Move on to the 5th. 4-7, and he will with a strikeout. He strikes Maxfield out to end the inning. No runs, a hit, no errors, and a man left. We go to the bottom of the 5th. It's 2-0 Oakland A's, and now I understand that they're just called the A's now. They don't have a home, so they're not calling them the Las Vegas A's. They're not calling them the Sacramento A's. They're just calling them the A's right now, which is going to seem weird, but that's just what they've got. Now, Doc Ellis will lead off next inning, so this will probably be his last inning. They're going to want to pinch hit and get some offense. So Doc Ellis looking to keep the score where it is. Here's Dick Green. 3-6 for Green is a solid single again, so that means Catfish again will bunt. And again, he is a D bunter, C bunter with the corners in. It becomes a D bunter. So D bunter, but it worked last time. They're going to try it again. Check for wild pitches and stuff. Nothing going on in the havoc. The bunt, 6. So the bunt goes to the third baseman, Hebner. And again, he needs basically a 7 or less to have a good bunt. That is a 7. It is a good bunt, good sacrifice. So the sacrifice hit works once again for Catfish. It's going to go 5-4. With Cash covering first since Oliver was charging. And it's going to be 1 out, 1 on in scoring position, although not held. And here's Bert Campaneris. 1, chance for a wild pitch. Doc Ellis is a 3. It's a 7, so no wild pitch. Pitch to Campy, 1-7 is a walk. So first and second once again. And that'll bring up Rudy. Only 1 out, so not a clutch situation just yet. 4-3 is a ground ball third base X. This is for Hebner. This is huge. He is a 4 range, so he's got to make sure he knocks this thing down. And as a 4 infielder, he needs a 7 or higher to get to this. And he does. 12 is a G3, so the runners are going to advance. Just a question of whether he makes an error or not. He's an E28. Got to avoid 11, 13, 14, and 15. And that's a 14. He did not avoid it. A 14 in super advanced third baseman with an error rating of 28. Let's look at the chart. 28, a 14 is a 2-base error, E2. E2 right here, where my pen is pointing, E2, there's a 14 sitting right here. And that's a 2-base error on Hebner. That will score Green from second. That will move Campaneris to third. And the big E5 on the Gravedigger, who might be digging the Pirates' own grave as we speak. It is now 3-0. Infield's going to have to come in for Sal Bando. Infield is in. They have no choice. It's 3-0 A's. They have to choke the run. 6-6 is a fly ball center field B. It's a sacrifice fly. That run is unearned, but they'll take it. And at least we won't have a 3-2 score because now it's 4-0 Oakland on the sacrifice fly by Sal Bando. And that is the second sacrifice fly in as many innings by the A's. They are playing fundamentally sound, getting that runner home. Here's Reggie. With first base open, they will walk Reggie. They're not going to mess with Reggie. And they'll take their chances with Gene Tennis. Ellis just trying to get out of the inning. .39, and that is a strikeout to end the inning. So the inning is over. 2 runs come in. That is correct, Harkwind. If you look at the chart, on a G3 with an E2, it says error, batter to second, runners advance 2 bases. So it's already baked into that result. They don't get a third base. So that's where that's where that's coming from, just in case you're curious. See, for the A's, 2 runs. They only got 1 hit, the big error, and they left 2 on base. So that's it for Doc Ellis. He's going to go 5 innings. He's going to give up 4 runs, 3 of which were earned. He gave up 1, 2, 4, 5 hits, and he struck out 5, walked 3, with 1 being intentional. And coming up for the A's will be Davalillo, Fossey, and Green. They can pretty much go to anybody they want to at this point. I believe they will go to Bob Moose in relief. These are long relievers, so Bob Moose will be coming on to pitch in relief. But right now they need a pinch hitter. Do the Pirates for Doc Ellis. So let's get the pinch hitters out. And it looks like the Cobra, Dave Parker, will pinch hit to lead off the top of the 6th. It'll be Parker, Cash, and Kleins. Parker, Cash, and Kleins against Catfish. Now a 5-0 lead for Catfish to work with. All right, here's Catfish to Parker on the pinch hitting try, 3-7, and he struck him out. So Parker out on strikes, 1 away for Dave Cash. 3-6 for Cash. It's a 1-3 single, but that's a 15. He lines it to Bando. And the Pirates now running out of outs against Catfish. Kleins, 1-6 for Kleins. He will single. So Kleins does get a single. Of course, he won't be going anywhere. Won't be held, won't go anywhere. Here's Al Oliver. 6-8 to the lefty. One's a home run, but that's a 19, so he will fly it to Hot Dog Jackson, and the inning is over. 6 shutout innings for Catfish. He is in complete control of this game. And it is now going to the bottom of the 6th, a 4-0 game. And shade your eyes, RJL, because we will have a double switch. Bob Moose will be coming in to pitch. Bob Robertson will be coming in to play first base. Al Oliver will move to center field, and Gene Kleins will be relieved of his duties the rest of the game. So the pitcher is going to go in the number 3 spot. Al Oliver is going to move to center field, where he is, let's get his numbers. He is a 2-0-14. Oh, wrong way. 2-0-E-14. And then Bob Robertson will bat in the number 9 position, playing first base, where he's a 2-E-8, running at a 10. All right, so keep in mind Robertson's at first. He will bat 9th, which means he bats right behind Maxville. And Gene Kleins is out of the game. So Kleins has been used up. Bob Moose, he's a -1 hold, +1 Sanguian, so he's a 0. So that'll help with the steals, but up 4-0, they may not be worried about stealing anyway. But that's where we're standing. And we got Davalillo, Fossey, and Green, bottom portion of the order. So that just, the reason I did that, because it lets Moose pitch where he's 8 positions away from batting, so that they can, keep him in there for a couple innings if they need him. But anyway, here's Davalillo against Moose. 4-5 to the lefty is a ground ball to second. Cash is there, 1 away for Ray Fossey. Fossey 0 for 2. 3-8 for Fossey is a ground ball to short. Out number 2, and here is Dick Green. So the Moose is loose temporarily. 4-5, and that is a ground ball to short. So a 1-2-3 inning for Bob Moose. But the Pirates only down to their final 9 outs against the Catfish. And Catfish, this is his fatigue inning, so we'll keep an eye on that. Inning number 7 is his fatigue inning. Of course, the bullpen is well rested. They had an off day for travel yesterday, plus Raleigh Fingers did not pitch in Game 5, so he's definitely well rested and can go 2 to 3 innings if he had to. All right, but right now, Catfish says, you ain't taking me out. 3-4, and that is a strikeout for Wilbur Stargell. He's 0 for 3 on the day. Here's Richie Zisk. He's 0 for 2. Of course, the Pirates only have 3 hits, so there's a lot of guys that are over. 3-5, that is a single. So Richie Zisk gets his first hit. But they've had 4 hits. They've all been singles, and no one for the Pirates has made it past first base. They have not had a runner in scoring position the whole game. Here's Hebner. He had that big error that opened up an additional run in the 5th. 3-3, and that's a ballpark single. Again, you have to have a 1. That didn't happen, so that's going to be a line out to second. Out number 2 for Sanguian. Sanguian. 1-6, and that's a ground ball back to Catfish to end the inning. No runs, a hit, no errors, and a man left. We hit the 7th inning stretch. It is 4-0 Oakland, and things are not looking too good for the Buccos. Catfish will hit for himself. First time he's going to swing away. The first 2 times he bunted, but nobody's on base this time, so he will get a chance to swing away for the first time. 5-9, and he strikes out. So Moose has retired all 4 he has faced. Here's Campaneris. They do have Ramon Hernandez, a lefty, in the bullpen in case they get to Reggie. 2-9, and that is a strikeout. But right now, Moose says, leave me alone, let me pitch. Moose might be saying, hey, maybe you should have started me. But Ellis was pitching well, so why? Not going to mess with that. 3-11, ground ball to second. So 6 up and 6 down by Bob Moose in relief. And we go to the 8th inning. Catfish only has 1 notch against his point of weakness, so he's still good to go. Raleigh Fingers is loosening in the bullpen just in case. Pirates need some hitters, so they will pinch hit for Dow Maxville. It's going to hurt them defensively, but right now you're down 4-0. You need runs. So Milt May, the backup catcher, a .269 hitter, will hit for Maxville. So Milt May will be the pinch hitter. And then the new shortstop will be Gene Alley, who was a 4.17, so definitely not as good, but you got to have some offense when you're down 4-0. You can't wait around too much longer. The outs are running out on you. So Milt May will be the pinch hitter. He'll be followed by Robertson, who came in on the double switch, and then Cash here in the 8th against the Catfish. .44 left-handed is a ground ball shortstop X. That's Campaneris. He's a 2.26. Needs a 3 or higher to get to it. And he does. He's got to avoid 12, 17, and 18. And he does. Good play for Campaneris. Milt May is retired. It brings up Bob Robertson for his first at-bat of the game. 5-2. That's a ballpark blast. 1-9. That's a 3. And Robertson has normal power. So that is gone. Bob Robertson, a pinch hit home run, or not a pinch hit home run, but a home run for the first run of the game. And maybe question whether he should have been starting to begin with, but it was a toss-up between him and Kleins. So right now it's a 4-1 game, and Catfish might need some relief. You never know. Here's Cash. 6-12. That's a ground ball first base X. That is tennis. He's a 4.18. And as a 4, he has to have a 7 or higher. And he does. Round the number. 7 is a G3 pound. Nobody's on base, so the pound's irrelevant. So now, can he not make the error? 18, he's got to avoid 11, 12, 14, and 17, which he does. So it's going to be a 3-1 put out as he flips to Catfish covering for out number 2. And here's Al Oliver. Al Oliver in the ball game. Against Catfish, 3-11. And that's a ballpark blast. Again, that's a 3. It is gone. Another home run, a solo shot for Al Oliver, 3-11. That's a ballpark blast. It's 1-9. That's a 3. It is gone. I'm sorry. I got messed up. That's the pitcher spot. My bad. Erase that roll. Erase that roll. Pitcher's batting second spot. So this is the pinch hitter that we need right here. So false alarm. Sorry about that. I'm glad I caught it, though. That would have been something to have somebody bat illegally like that. So we're going to have Rennie Stennett to pinch hit. And I'm not going to keep that same roll. I'm going to re-roll a new at bat because that was just way out of proportion there. So Stennett is your pinch hitter. So ixnay on the Amscray on that home run because that was not legitimate. 5-5, and that's a fly to left to end the inning. But the Pirates do get a run on the board on the Bob Robertson home run. That's going to be it for Catfish. He's going to go 8 innings. Well, first of all, we'll do Moose. He went 2 innings, didn't give up anything, and struck out 2. And now Dave Justy will be coming in for the Pirates to pitch the 8th and try to keep it where it is. For Catfish, He gave up 1 run on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits. And let's see, he had impeccable control as usual, not walking anybody. Struck out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 strikeouts for the Catfish. And he is in line to get the win. Raleigh Fingers ready to go for the 9th. And let's see. First of all, we need a pitcher for the Pirates, and that's Dave Justy. Best they have. 9-2, 2.38 ERA, and 20 saves. Got to try to keep the score where it is. There's no other option. It will be Bando, Jackson, and Tennis due up for the Oakland A's, and it's 4-1 game. 2-7, and that is a walk, leadoff walk. I can hear RJL now saying if you didn't do the double switch, you'd never had that problem about being out of order and not doing that. You wouldn't have been confused. Kleins would have hit and probably made an out, and it wouldn't have been that problem. So see what double switches get you. I can hear the cynical part of RJL coming out on that. All right, here's Reggie. Bando not being held. Reggie Justy to Reggie, I should say. 3-7. That is a strikeout. So Hot Dog strikes out, 1 away for Gene Tennis. Nothing on the Havoc. 6-8, and that's a pop out to short. The new shortstop, Gene Alley, makes the play. 2 down for Davalillo. Vic Davalillo. 1, so chance of a wild pitch, a 1-6. And no wild pitch is blocked by Sanguian. 6-6 to the lefty, grounder to first, and Robertson takes to the bag himself. No runs, no hits, no errors, and a man left. So we go to the top of the 9th, last chance for the Pirates, and it will be have to do it against the best the A's have in Raleigh Fingers. 7-8, 193 earned run average, and 22 saves. Justy went 1 inning, walk and a strikeout, nothing else. So top of the 9th we go. Last chance for the Buccos to try to extend the series to Game 7. They do have the heart of the order. They got Oliver, Stargell, and Zisk with Hebner in the hole. So you got the best 4 you could possibly want up there. So here's Oliver facing Raleigh Fingers. 2-9, and that's a ground ball back to Fingers. 1 away, and here comes the Wilbur Stargell. 2-5, and that's it. This time it's a solid home run. No doubt about it. As Mr. Goodwin would say, clean as a baby's ass right here. 2-5, solid home run, no doubt about it. It's now a 4-2 ball game. The only bad part for the Pirates is nobody was on base when it happened. They've had 2 home runs. They've both been solo shots, but it's now a 4-2 game. So there is a hope. Hope springs eternal. You do have, and wouldn't it be interesting if this game ended 4-2? Almost all the other ones are 3-2. This could be 4-2 final if the score holds up the way it is right now. Here's Richie Zisk. 3-7 for Zisk. A 1-10 is a single. That's a 5, so it's a base hit for Richie Zisk. And now the tying run is at the plate in Richie Hebner. Can Raleigh Fingers hold on? The gravedigger, Richie Hebner. Zisk not being held. 4-8, and that's a strikeout for Raleigh Fingers. A big one, too. And now it's up to Manny Sanguian, but he does have a little bit of power against right-handers. He can do it. If he gets either a ballpark blast or something in column 2, he could do it. Would pinch run for Zisk, but his run doesn't really mean anything, so there's no reason to pinch run for him. Here's Sanguian. 5-7, that's a strikeout, and there's your ball game. Raleigh Fingers does it, and the A's pile on to the field. The Oakland A's are your world champions in Strat-O-Matic 1973. They had a hiccup in the top of the 9th, but they pull it off and win it by the score of 4-2. Fingers in the 9th does give up the home run. 2 hits, but he does strike out 2 and get the save. Hunter gets the win. Ellis takes the loss. Do the totals real quickly. 4-2. I don't believe there was one error in the game. The big error on Hebner, that really hurt them. That was the only error in the game. Hits. The A's only mustered 5 hits, but they got some walks and some errors mixed in and a couple sac flies, so they made the most of those 5 hits. They left on 1, 2, 4, 5. Left on 5. For the Pirates, they managed 7 hits, and they left on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 themselves. So there is your final line score. A's won it 4-2. 4 runs, 5 hits, no errors, and 5 left for Oakland. 2 runs, 7 hits, 1 error, and 5 left for Pittsburgh. Hunter the winner, Ellis the loser, and the save to Raleigh Fingers. And your 1973 Strat-O-Matic NBC Game of the Week World Series champions are the Oakland A's. And that 73 project is now in the books. So now we have to wait till next season, next April, to find out. Or what I'll do is probably sometime in March, I will do the selection show and have people vote on which season they would, like for the 73. I'm sorry, for the NBC Game of the Week. And play it. This one, the next season, guaranteed will be played an inside pitch. No matter what season is voted for, it will be on an inside pitch. Or payoff pitch, either one. If payoff pitch has it. That's the only. Payoff pitch doesn't have every season. So if a season gets picked that they don't have, then obviously I've got to default to inside pitch. But inside pitch has all the seasons that we can vote for. So that's where that would go. So now on Tuesday night, it will be back to the 1987 1987 American League every game played replay. We are at April the 12th. And I put it on hiatus to finish this project because going back and forth, I felt like I wasn't gaining ground either project. So I decided to, just focus on that. And so that's what we're doing there. And it will be Minnesota at Seattle. It'll be Mark Langston against Bert Blyleven. Yes, Brian B. It will be. I will do what I did last time. I'll have all the seasons face down. Actually, I have them face up, and just have them in columns. And I'll roll the dice. The dice will pick out the winners of each of the 4 columns, and then I'll put it up for a vote. There'll be no other dice rolls after that. And the top vote getter. The popular vote will win. There is no electoral college. This is the top vote getter will win. And who knows? It would be very interesting if 1990 came up as a choice, because I got a feeling that would win. And that would be interesting to see RJL do 83 in January to April, and then the NBC Game of the Week kick in with the 1990 right behind that. That would be interesting. We should see. But that has to come up on the luck of the dice. So dice may eliminate that right away. You never know. But I enjoyed this 73 NBC Game of the Week. That was at a fun season, and started, of course, way back in April, and now here we are in November, early November, and we finally finish it. And the team that won the World Series in real world wins the series in the replay. Of course, they played the Pirates, not the Mets, and they finished it in 6 games instead of 7. And we didn't get the 3-2 score. We got the 4-2 score. If Richie Hebner does not make that error, it would have been another 3-2 score. So blame Richie Hebner. If you don't, if you wanted that 3-2 score, you got to blame Richie Hebner. He was the cause of that. So I do appreciate everybody that followed this all the way through. And don't forget to check out RJL's Strat-O-Matic hockey videos. If you're interested in Strat hockey, or maybe trying to learn Strat hockey, or relearn Strat hockey would be in my case, would be to relearn it. Unfortunately, I'm not a hockey guy. I like watching other people play it, but to play it myself, I don't think would be that interesting. I did buy it just to buy it, like 5 years ago. I bought the game just to say I had it. But you never know if I watch RJL stuff and I get motivated, I might try to learn it. You never know. Stranger things have happened. So that's going to do it from here. Hope your college team won yesterday. I know RJL. I don't know if you remember me, RJL, but I said it. I I don't do basketball, Ben. I do college basketball, not NBA. Um, I got the full season stats, Jimmy Jam. I could always put that out. It's mostly on the computer, though, because I only played one game a week for one team, and everybody else's track computer played. So, I mean, I guess I could put that out there if it's something somebody really wanted. But I did mention in one of my videos a couple weeks ago that Georgia Tech, well, don't sleep on Georgia Tech because they have a good team. And I knew the Hurricanes might be in for a tough game. Didn't necessarily know they would lose it, but I thought it'd be a tough game, especially if they had Haynes King back to run the ball. And they just controlled the clock, and Canes couldn't get off the field. Can't blame Cam Ward. He had a good game, but he wasn't on the field that much. I mean, there's one drive that Georgia Tech, I think, held the ball for over 10 minutes. And, your defense is going to get tired. And it's just ground and pound. And that's the way Georgia Tech plays it. So everybody's got to take a loss at some point. I mean, Pittsburgh lost to Virginia, which was kind of weird. But, of course, the referees didn't exactly help Pittsburgh on that one either. But so, in any given Saturday, I guess they say. But I mean, look at Georgia. I thought they went into Texas and won, then they get whipped by Ole Miss. So, and poor Florida State. How the mighty have fallen. Last year they were in the ACC championship game. This year I believe they're 1-9, and they got waxed by Notre Dame 52-3. I mean, that's just terrible. Just terrible. So anyway, hope your NFL team wins today for you, whoever that might be. If you're into that, I'm not really that much into the NFL. I'm not even as much in college as I used to be. Once they started paying players, I started losing interest because they're no longer college athletes. They're just employees and going to the highest bidder and transferring from one team to the next. So I'm kind of losing interest in college sports lesser. I mean, I still watch it, but it's not as intently as I used to because of all that mess. But anyhow. So that's that, as they say. And I've got my score sheet all ready to go for the 1987 video, the game on the video, and it's going to be Bert Blyleven against Mark Langston. Minnesota won the game in real world 8-5, so might be curious to see how that turns out. Indiana hasn't played anybody. That's the problem with Indiana. First decent team they played was Michigan, and they had a tough time with them. So I can't imagine them. They've got like one of the weakest schedules in all of college football. So until they beat an Ohio State or an Penn State, I'm not a believer. So, but you play who's on the schedule, so you can't really fault them. You just got to play who you can play. So anyway, Tuesday night, and we'll be looking at this game. Don't know if it's going to be live or if it's going to be pre-recorded. I haven't decided that yet. We'll have to find out. I've got to finish playing the other games before this to get it ready for that and get my Altal scoreboard ready. So I'll be doing that probably tonight and tomorrow, to get that ready for Tuesday. Oh, if Indiana has to go to Ohio State, that'll be their comeuppance. They can check their first loss in the box on that one. So. At least in my opinion. Anyway. All right, that's going to do it from here. Thank you all for spending part of your Sunday morning with me. The A's defeat the Pirates in 6 games to claim the World Series title in Strat-O-Matic's NBC Game of the Week. We put 73 to rest. And then come next March, or this coming March, we'll vote on seeing what comes up next. So again, have a wonderful Sunday. And as usual, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it. And I will see you all down the road.